Going live. Coming to you 0500 hours, 11 minutes, Thursday, October 18th, 2018. We are controlled. Are you controlled? Are you? I watch a lot of, I listen and I read. I talk to a lot of people. I am not outgoing, but I am very sociable. People I hang out with, like that's not familiar with me, hanging out, like going out, a lady or a guy. Like the guys, oh, it's funny. They don't say nothing like a woman will. It's like, what you talk to everybody. I'm, I like talking. It's weird to walk past people and not say hi. I don't say hello. Not to acknowledge other people that I'm on this world with. It's weird to me. And I don't have the greatest memory. And I'll probably remember your face and what you had on, what you looked like. But to remember your name, no, that's my problem. Remember names and numbers. So I also carry pen on me, always carry paper on me. I tear up papers and different sheets like little post-its, but I take my own paper and tear it up. Now you walking around to be man or woman, especially when I'm like, oh, you was scared to get numbers today. I was like, no, this is always me. I'm gonna always have a pen in my pocket and I'm gonna always have paper in my wallet. Besides my cell phone, I know there's electronic device to get up, so I'd rather do it the old-fashioned way. I know to take this paper, put it in my wallet, I'm good. I don't have to. I might meet some people. I have blank business cards in my pot, like, and I set it up. I might draw on that day how I feel or what I'm trying to do. I make different many examples, so I'm always preparing myself. That's one thing we never talk about is being prepared. But I'm talking about are we being controlled? I notice in the sports world we have great players, like I mean exceptional. Like to me, for me to talk about you, you gotta be exceptional. I don't like him, Tom Brady. He's an exceptional player. Now let's go to the lowest team in the league. The lowest team only won like one game. And I don't and there's so many bad quarterbacks I can think of. Let's think of Eli Manning. Tom Brady have not beat Eli Manning in the Super Bowl. But if you go back and look at numbers, if we want to look at straight numbers, Eli Manning have been a garbage quarterback, and that's not to diss him. He have not been, not to say garbage. He have not been as great as a Cam Newton, a Philip Rivers. So let's do Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers have no championships, no NFL rings, no playoff victories, and if he do, he have one. Eli have many and have two Super Bowl rings. If you look at that by itself, what would you say? Eli is better than Philip Rivers, right? And we start now. If we start doing I'm gonna say a contrast. It's a trick to compare me or my trust, my view, my perspective of each quarterback. You would say Eli is Manning. Eli is Manning, right? He's manning it up. You would say he's better. But then when you actually view and take, now let's go career game by game. If you watch game by game, you be like, Phillip Rivers didn't throw interceptions for 5, 6 games. Eli done about 6 or 7. But the Giants managed to win. That's why they went to the Super Bowl. And you look at Phillip Rivers like, what is he doing? He's not setting his team in a bad place. He's about to get sacked. He's throwing the ball out of bounds. He's making all the right decisions. He's airing it out with the receivers he have. He's trusting his guys. He's having 300, 400, 500 yard games. And it's like, what's wrong? Now, if you look on the other side, which Phillip Rivers don't play, he play offense. So the other side don't play defense. But the defense allow 400 yards a game. Now let's go to Eli team. Their defense only allowing 200 yards a game, while Eli threw 2 interceptions, 5 interceptions in one game one time. They lost that one because it could have came back. He only had it's so funny, and this is horrible. We'd sit there like, well, if he only threw 4 interceptions, they would have won the game. See how crazy that sounds? Compared to the other guy, man, I don't have the luxury to throw any interceptions. See how the narrative go now? This is how society is being controlled. Now think about in your mind when you're doing things, when you at work. Look at it. I point stuff out, but I try not to listen to people. So I like to listen to music. I like to wear things that I can like throw out the noise. I will pay you no attention. I would say what's up and keep it moving, or say what's up. People are like, why you keep saying what's up? That's me, because I don't want to get entangled into any other type of conversation, especially when you're new there. Then when you start learning who the people you can't conversate with, then you stop talking to them in the sense of, hey, like how you day, you doing good? Then they want to get into conversations, and it's like, no, I don't do conversations with people because my view of things is very logical and practical. Everything I do. So if it's based on religion, politics, the job, whether you like it or not, who's in charge, I am very, very logical. I'm still logical and practical. I'm not saying whatever you're saying is not true. I'm practical. So we would deem Philip Rivers the worst quarterback. But when we take a closer look, we'd be like, hold on. That's why Philip Rivers' career is on the same team. They have no reason to trade him. The team is should be more, and it's like they try to balance because it's not that Rivers need a receiver. It's that let's work on our deep. If I like for me, if I had like they say, what you think, Rivers? I was like, don't worry about our offense. I make sound decisions. We don't win games. You can win games on your offense, but you win it on your defense. But you can win it on your offense. People would say, and they started putting that into our head. Defense win championship. That's not true. That's not true. That is not more times than so. The stronger side wins the championship. It got nothing to do with this, and people, and it's like people won't take the time out to prove that. Like there's theories, but then there's total proof. Like there's like when I say all truth, you cannot change the. We can try because based on how you want to be taught, see what's fostered, nurtured, and breeded into us. Like a conversation about is gender and the same as sex? Is sex the same as gender? Like, are you a male or female? Can that be changed? People now is trying to fight that and be like, I'm like, I'm not getting in a discussion with you because you're trying to tell me now, just because I guess the words they're using now, the words they are using are dysphoria. I'm just gonna say you're confused. You're trying to bait me into what you want me to say. And I'm saying I'm not going to say that regardless. I have respect to you. I'd rather just call you your name. I'm not doing the what they say adjectives. They, now, us, him, she. He was like, how was that created? Well, let's go with him and her. Let's do the man and let's do a balance. Don't create more. And if you want to add more, make that aware. But you're not going to walk up to everybody and say, well, him and her, I lose they. And they're not going to do that. I'll rather say, what's your name? You're confusing people because you're confused. When I have a certain thought and people like they want my answer, I was like, I don't go over my answer because I would have to explain the whole thing to you unless you're willing to. And if they're willing, yes. But if we're not in that type of atmosphere, then I just have to go with what can be you like, in this atmosphere, it's a lot of people they got a dysphoria or that's we're gonna say as normal as they can be. So let's go with the most respectful thing. And to me, I'm not gonna worry about adjectives or pronouns, whatever you call them. I'm gonna say, hi, how you doing? What is your name? Oh, okay, nice to meet you, such and such. And I'm gonna be more of an effort to remember names because now I'm in an atmosphere where I can just say their name. I'm in the atmosphere of different minds that's trying to get people to the. I don't want you to be in my mind. I want to be in. I want your mind to stay where it's at, and let's communicate that way. I don't want to have to change everything I say just to communicate. But I have learned this. Like if I'm talking about someone, so if I'm saying Eli Manning, so I have to say his name again. So I would just say, well, Eli chose this. Eli. That makes sense because And then when I say, if I say that like Philip Rivers, as I say Philip in the same sentence, you be like, oh, he's talking about Eli for this part and Philip for that part. To me, that's logical. So I'm gonna use the word sense. It's practical to do. But when we get into the terms of he, like the days and the thousands, like this is what he is now. I'm like, so what is his name? So I won't confuse who I'm talking to, and we won't have a problem. And if you're not okay with that, that means what we're trying to get away is now respecting. That's why I teach. I'm like the guide and challenge you on dignity. What do you think about yourself? So in the overall, we would think Eli had a better career because he got, but that's not true. And that's what sports world is the world is doing to you. And that's why I said this yesterday. I'm no longer now. I'm gonna listen to them because it's like men. It's like we watching our soap opera. But then no longer I'm going to engage with people about who's better, who's that, because we get into the notions now and they're trying to tell us what to do. Okay, Kevin Durant played with Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, now to me, you cannot. To me, to be better, you can get better. Each season you get better because by the end of that season you have learned something different compared to guys that just entered the league just this first year. They went from grammar school, high school, maybe now it's college. I do 1 year to the pros. Well, you got amateur and semi, then you got pro. So if you go from basketball from out of college, you can go to a league called the G League. That's part of the NBA. That's NBA players being ready and okay, we're gonna use groom to play the NBA. Or they're already there, but it's too many NBA players on one team. But they're like, well, we really like you. But we want to see what the guy we had from 4 years ago is he still able to do this? If not, we gonna talk to you next year. Or if you get hurt, somebody get injured, we need players. We need to fill up our roster. But you a valid reason to fill up our roster. We're not just gonna just say throw you on a team that you're off the street. We know who you are. Or you got overseas basketball. They get paid good money as well. They're just as good. But then we got the sports world telling us a guy in another country is not as good as our guy over here. We got plenty of guys and what make you not good to the young men and women, it's not that I'm better than you. What are you doing in your off time? If he's sitting up there shooting, 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 he say he can't shoot. He's very good everywhere else. Man, imagine if he get his mid-range jumper. Ben Simmons is our example. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's a point guard. He's almost 7 feet. And he never would shoot the ball. He always leave it to his players. And last year he had players that were just willing to run around and shoot because they were shooters. Now they don't have these players. Now it's gonna because what was supposed to happen. This is his third season. He was a rookie last year because he got injured his first year. That's to me, you still and I'm going by the rule. He played in the NBA game. He got injured. You're no longer a rookie. He played. It was preseason, but that's count as an NBA game. It's a rule set. And if you're not going to use the rule, then what's the point of it? So just like if you're going to do Eli Manning versus Philip Rivers, what's the point of comparison, the overcast of both players, and say who had a better career? But if you include rings, well, that's not. Then we go into it. There's life. I'm not going to never say life is not. I would never tell my child that life is not fair. I would tell to my child that we all have our choices. Now, as I always say, I say on one, I say into all. I say you got a choice. It's your journey, it's your path. You have to choose wisely for yourself, for you. Until, like for my child, I'm choosing wisely for me and my child. If I need to move for the betterment of my child's life, it's no longer about me. I have to move. And see, that's where we go wrong. I cannot let somebody dictate to me how I should live, but I know what I'm trying to do too as well. So before I have a child, I want to see the places better so my child can live in these better places. I don't want to just leave. I'm not even trying to leave. I had to move based upon what was going on in my life to a certain area. But that don't mean, wow, I was just looking. I need to leave. And I constantly hear this. I was like, you're a no example. Maybe you do need to leave. Because everybody are like, I need to leave this area. It's so bad. And I'm looking like, what do you do to make it so better? It's like, what do? You don't do nothing. The area is bad because you don't do nothing. You watch young girls, you think it's not okay no more to say nothing to a young girl or to help out. How many block clubs have you set up? How many parties how many times have you walked by a young lady and you knowing it your words is very powerful. Power is in the words. I may not say a lot of things every time, but I try to like what's the word? Commemorate my ancestors. This is why they fought. I give praise to everybody that died for me. I'll give them honor, the glory, and the praise. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I'm not gonna take their stories and use them against them and be like, well, they could have been doing that for their selfish. I had a person tell me I'm helping for selfish reasons. I was like, I don't get I'm what? So you telling me I'm using my money, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my effort, my time for what? The young lady I helped, she remember I helped her, but she probably won't even remember all the things because she was 8 years old. Now I see her, she 12. She don't remember me. So you thinking I'm caring so much about props, what? You high. Now you got so used to people you being around. See, I didn't grow up in the church. She grew up in the church. See, I got you got so used to being in the church. See what I'm saying? You got used to, and it's not the church. I learned it's not the church. It's the control. It's how we. This is what I'm getting at. How we you the program has to tell you. Okay, I'm gonna use it like this. If you put in a computer program inside of a computer, it has to tell you what it is because it's already programmed. Either that this is not valid. What's the word? What's the word? Compatible or not. And if it's not compatible, it won't work. So basically, we have to set a certain program a certain way because it's an operating system. Your body is so your mind have to be. See, you don't have to tell my mind whether this program gonna work or not. If I'm more geared towards hands-on work, you cannot force my mind to tell me only audio is going to work for me. I just need to listen. Well, I can listen. I'm not gonna be. It's not that I don't pay attention. Or my attention span is so short. But if you're telling me a your audio is coming out, you're telling me a program that I need to learn how to use and to utilize. I'm going to need some hands-on work. Eventually, I'm going to need more hands-on than the audio. You get what I'm saying? I don't need to hear it so much. As I hear it, pause. Okay, now what do I need to do physically? Now, if there's no physical work, by all means, and that's funny. This is how my mind works. If it's all literally, I need to just listen. I'm just gonna just listen. But I have been in a church service. This is like a prime example, or a speech when I had to stand up and walk out and come back. Like, oh, okay, I get it. Because my mind needed a rest. Because that's why when a lot of people are supposed to be guiding, you're supposed to have rest breaks. That's why there's a pause break. And I don't mean that sometimes a pause break should be like every 45 minutes for at least 5 to 10 minutes. You can't have long break or stop. Or you're guiding, they say teaching, instructing, and I hate those words because that's putting you in a position to only have one direction. Sometimes it's not, depending on the person. But a lot of teachers only teach one way. Like when they try to teach a math problem. Now with so many different the way to solve a math problem is very hard. So what we're doing is making it harder for people to understand. Just because you have the most touchdowns, that don't mean you was being the best quarterback. And see, that's hard for people to phantom now. So now I'm gonna use an example. Right now we got like top players in the world. LeBron James. Nobody like him because and I watch people and I was like, so do this to everybody, and they won't do it. They keep talking into a tangent and into a tangent. And I was like, I'm doing the intangibles while I'm doing the tangibles. The tangibles is okay, points. That is very important for each player to be able to have. Be able to score points. The main categories is points, rebounds, assists, steals, and those are the good ones. The bad ones is like turnovers. You got a 24-second shot clock. How long do you hold the ball in your hand? Are you creating plays? Are you taking good shots? Like it's two guys over you, somebody wide open, somebody else can take the shot. I don't care what percentage he's shooting from over there. Percentage of, well, a guy wide open that's made it to the NBA compared to a guy that's taking shots over two, three guys. To me, I was always taught, and then logically, I don't care if I'm one on one. A guy is wide open. I'm gonna get a guy. That don't mean the wide open guy don't have to take the shot. Because what we're gonna do is get an easier shot. And now if I have 12 seconds, and just because you're wide open, you have still and see, and this is the thing. We seconds is a lot of time. We don't think so because we got so used to you ever sat on the phone? Listen to this. So next time you're on the phone with someone, they say, hold on, look at the clock and just watch the clock. You know how sometimes we're like, man, I was on the phone for 10 minutes, and you look and the person on the other line, like, that was like a minute and 10 seconds. But in your mind, it felt like forever. Because now it's changing. The term what we're trying to do is trying to get everybody on the same line. That's why it's hard for us to understand one each other now. Because we're thinking one way and we're like, hold on, let's have some type of like I don't want to be like you. I want to be like you, or I want to have understanding. I don't want to be so much. Sometimes you want to be similar. Because you tell them you sat on the phone for 10 minutes and that was like a minute and a half, a minute and 10 seconds. We got some type of understanding that's going to be wrong already. That's going to let me know, okay, in some way, you might not be as patient as I am. And you got to start understanding that about people. But first, you got to understand that about yourself. That is why we're being controlled. We're not understanding ourselves. It is like, and then when the guy sat down with the young lady that was using the gender role, he knew a lot of history. Like, it's like just step on a topic. Because people say a person that knows too much can fall for anything, or you don't know everything. And that's what she tried to depict to him. But he's like, you're trying to have the discussion. You sat down. I opened up the field for gender role. You sat down to try to convince me, is there more than one gender or sex? She said yes, because she tried to use history, other like not nations. But he was like, you have not backed up nothing. But she was getting angry because she had and then this is part of her life and her family that misguided her. She was getting angry because she just wanted him to just agree with her. But he was like, the whole point of this, now he was like explaining to people started gathering. The whole point of this, convince me. I am here. I'm willingly. And he's bringing up information about when the gender role became like in the 1940s. it was happening all throughout history. But when it became now, when we started studying it, we wasn't studying it before the 1940s because it was nothing to study. Because when you met the people, there's like, oh, Matroza is like, I am Jerry, but now I am. See, and people, and it sounded funny. I met back when I was growing up. More now, people are quiet, but back then we were more vocal. When I was growing up, people were like, "Hi, I am gay." Oh, okay, and we respected that gayness. We didn't care. I am a transsexual, and then now people got into all these movements, and even the girl talk about it's not safe for a transgender. I'm black. I grew up black. I grew up the color of my skin. I wish he was she was a Caucasian woman. He was a Caucasian male. It's a lot of ways he could have went. He could have even used that. Like, well, there's black people that and it's like they don't want to view everything. So they're trying to just show me how I should be programmed, how I should be controlled. But she gave no examples. So this guy just started running down the history. And she was like, you just studied this. He's like, yes, I should. But just, he didn't say it this way, but he was saying, you should have some type of information. If you're going to tell people what they should say, at least have some information so you can back yourself up. So it can, so we can actually trade ideas. Because you're not convincing me to change my mind, or you're not trying to convince me. You're trying to show me a way of life where I can be respectful. Show me why in my head, but she had no points to stand on. She made good, valid understanding, which I was like, you're right. And it was funny. I thought he wasn't going to agree with a lot of people that he made the videos on YouTube. I'm going to put them on YouTube. And he was doing them on, he was actually, I was like, wow, I felt like I sat down with an open-minded guy. But the people that he was talking to, it was just getting angry because they couldn't explain. And then people in the crowd would just yell out. He was like, please don't do that. You have a chance to sit down as well. Let's wait our turn. And he had a time limit. And it's like, you can be next. Or if you are, give me a chance, give her a chance to finish our sentence. And she was being rude. She never, the one that was sitting down, wouldn't allow him to, but I guess she was a part of the LGBTQ community. And she was. And she had no, what you call that, no leg to stand on. And that was very, and that's like, that is unfair to us. So if you're going to say Kevin Durant is a great player, he's a top 5. What do he, and to me, I do this with myself. There could be 5 spots open. That don't mean they have to be filled. Think about this. Now, start really thinking about this. This is how they program and control us. 5 spots there that's open. There's vacancy. Anyone can fill them. That don't mean I have to fill them up, correct? Oh, you say I do. Okay, let's do what I do then. Why do I have to fill up spots? These spots are for people that goes above and beyond, that is exceptional, and that hold their commitments to her. It's more things that can be said about them or that can go into these 5 spots. But let's take the time out and examine this or examine. Think about yourself. Do you want to be placed into a spot? To me, let's use life. Life, I was going to use relationship. Let's lose our life to get to where we need to be. Okay, I went to school. I got a degree. I'm in my career. Okay, now we're in our career. What are you doing in your career that they need these 5 spots filled? Tell me. And I mean, really be honest. That was one of my power of oneness, being honest to yourself. You got to be honest to you first. I don't need to be honest to me first. I mean to you first. To me, I mean, sorry, let's back up. I don't need to be honest to you first. Because you know why? If I'm not honest to myself, there's no way in this earth I can be honest to you. That's not being taught. That's not if you gonna teach God, if you gonna teach, foster and nurture and breed that into someone. That's what I'm saying. There's good ways to foster, breed, and nurture children. Then there's bad ways. To tell me I don't need information, so when I go out to to create to prove my points, to say truth, I don't need information to back it up. To people that's sitting there like, well, I took the time out to acknowledge you. Wait, hold on. I know you thinking. I took the time out to acknowledge you. I don't really have to. I just have to be like kind of respectful to you, and because I'm already loving myself, do things that is not rude. Like I don't have to be mean to you. I don't have to. I can feed you. I can help you. And I do that with myself. But to do more and more with you, and you want me to interact with you, please take the time out to work on your craft, to work on your information, your research. And it's a time, and I'm okay with this. I do it myself. Person to just look at me and stop. I was like, this conversation got to stop. They're like, why? Because now we talked about the topic. First, I was like, do we understand? And if we don't understand, I was like, well, we leaving the topic. We going into another subject. Like if we talking about like the man was doing, like for my instance, we was just doing the beginning about comparison. And if you start leaving that, like you would say, well, his touchdowns don't matter. Well, the other side, like I only play offense. Well in basketball you got to play offense and defense. You want to ignore one for the other that you're not ignoring for the other person. So that's you start leaving the subject because as soon as you say that don't matter, I'm gonna have to say that don't matter either. So why are we talking about this part? So now what you start doing, you start throwing in the control. You're trying to program me to be a certain way. Like I have recently listened to guys say, well, Kevin Durant better than LeBron. That's why he's better because he don't run away this and that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna use this and that. He used LeBron ran away from Kevin Durant in the finals. He used Durant was willing to do certain things. And I was like, okay, I didn't notice that, but okay. But then I reversed it. I said, okay, so do the reverse for Durant. He was like, huh? And but he didn't say huh, right? He said that don't matter. In my mind, I was like, exactly. See, I can say in my mind, then when I start doing that, they get lost. 'Cause I say in my mind, this is what I seen. But in reverse, I had to do the same thing. So if I'm with a woman in a relationship, I can't tell her she have to cook. And I think about how many times have I cooked? What can I cook? See what I did to myself? I didn't just put you on one spot. I put me in a spot at the same time. I cannot say, and I learned this. If you don't have a great understanding of one thing, you can always learn. And what that takes is a little bit of education. I mean, going out. So maybe I need to go out and like, let me go cook this from scratch. And then when you start taking the time out, you start learning different. Oh, less eggs. Okay, more flour. It's too thick. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, or whatever the other ingredient is. If you're making dough, you need more flour. If it's a ingredient that is a wet ingredient, let me get less of that wet ingredient. Or let's say if you was doing meat and you was putting seasoning, you put too much seasoning in there. You know what you can do. Like, okay, I can start over, but I can also rinse this off. Or before you start, we like, oh snaps. Or you can add something else to take away that seasoning. Sometimes you might have to fully start over. Sometimes you don't. It depends on what it is. But that come from me actually educating myself. I'm going out. And that's what we don't do. So in con, it's a trick. The contrast of the player. Yes, you're going to belittle, discredit, give more props to. But if you saying that Kevin Durant has gotten better than LeBron in 2 years, they both been in the league the same amount. Let's say we're gonna compare. LeBron been in what 17, Kevin Durant is like 15 years or sort of. So I'm gonna just take away 2 of LeBron years and take away and just leave Durant because Durant has to catch up to LeBron. We're gonna compare. Just like Eli and Phillip Rivers. What I'm going to compare is all the tangibles. Remember the things that normally is going to happen. Then the intangibles, good or bad. How many turnovers? Now, one thing we don't do either, and I know I was losing this for a minute because I started listening to people and I had to stop. To me, I stopped being a Christian because I felt like I was under expelled. This is what I mean. Every time I went to church, I went in with an open mind. But when I left, I got outside and I closed my mind. See, you don't hear me. And when whatever I take into my heart and my mind, if it start constricting me, restricting me, it stop allowing me to be really free. After a while, my mind and my heart be like, no. I've seen people get overtaken. And it's not demonic. I mean, overtaken. They got habits. They're into drugs. They allow people to abuse them and hurt them. They allow their self to be abused and hurt. They allow so much wrong. And I'm sitting here like, and after a while, that is demonic. You have been taking control over without control over yourself, which you already had. Let me say it again. You have been taking control over which you allowed, which you already had control over. I don't need someone to tell me I need a certain type of duty in my life. If I'm already honest, I don't need some type of words put into a sentence in the form of how I believe to tell me that I should be honest. If that can make sense. Maybe if you get what I'm saying. I don't need you to put a whole bunch of words together because I'm being respectful. Because sometimes I be talking to people like that. Don't say that because you're attacking what my belief is. So I was like, okay, I don't want to attack their belief. And I'm the type of person, I'm like, okay. And I asked them, how can I say this to you? And they say there's really no other way. I was like, okay, let me try it this way. The words that you just read out of a book, you were seeking help to be better at whatever you need to be better at honesty. For me, I have to see what I'm doing wrong because already a power in myself. In my understanding, I can have control over myself as well. I don't need permission to ask for my entity because he already allowed me to access it. I have to seek it out myself. He gave me the power, the Almighty gave me the power to view what is wrong. And if that's wrong, then that's wrong on your side. But on my side, I have the power and ability to seek out what is wrong. Like right now, if we started speaking and my voice will get raised, but you feel like I'm over speaking you, I'm talking over you, I'm not giving you a chance to talk. I went, all right, and I have to practice this with myself. I was like, all right, let me stop. That person too. Now if you want somebody to do a little changing, you gotta be a little and your side is not always where you would like it to be either. Because while they're doing this, you have to be doing something as well. You got to allow them to be, you got to be ready for them to not. Like a person like, well, you changing. It's like, I'm not changing. I'm getting better for the both of us, or I'm getting better first for me. So you to make the implications that if you're going to say a person is better than another person, utilize all truths. Now that would make an easier topic. And when you be subjective, then objective, you be like, okay, I can understand you. I can understand you. Like that makes sense. Why? But don't tell me, because when you use words that don't matter, we all can see it. You don't matter. Like you start taking away from the person because it's like, no, we all don't see it. I see something different that you didn't see. Speak your piece and allow each other to have it. And if you don't want to do that, then you got to take the time out and be like, let the person know I don't want to listen to you. Because I have people like, you change to take constructive criticism. I let them finish and I say stop. When they done, I'm like, no, your criticism literally said like I repeat it back. Your criticism called me a name that is not what I am. And when now I'm telling you that's not what I am, can you come up with a different name? Come up with a different way to describe me in your own way again. If you cannot do that to me, we're not gonna have a great conversation because you try to give me a name but it's an incantation. You're trying to tell an old instance. You see a kid, a child, still learning, 5, 6 years old. The first word we like to say if they're not listening is they're bad. How do you know at home that they're disciplined? I don't mean just getting a spanking. Discipline comes in the form of knowledge and information. How do you know that mother and father is not telling them that they're not wrong or right at home? See, if we're going to go away from wrong and right, positive, negative, good and bad, if we're going to use the word bad, how do you know what good is being guided to them, challenge them on at home? So when you call them bad, that's just an incantation of a spell that they already put on the child because there was no discipline. Let's say that again. When you call a child bad, that's an incantation of a spell that's putting more and more. You're locking it in. You're solidifying. You're making it true. You're making it true because a parent or the person or a guardian have had great discipline for that child. That means in discipline, that child have not been chastised if they need to be chastised. Like I used to mention, how do you know what is hot? It burns. And the child say, that's hot. Yes. They heard you say it. But the first time they didn't say that was hot. You know what they did? They moved their hand away. They did it again. They was like, why I can't put my hand there? And then the first thing you said, because I'm not going to go away from this. It's hot. They're like, what is hot? That's when a object or item based on your skin temperature is hot. Because then there are going to times it's been like, this is very cold. And it feel hot. So what your nerves and your logic and your practicality you want to do is, okay, this is not hot because this is ice. Ice is not hot. It can have the sensation. The senses can feel hot after a while. But when they start feeling hot, that means your nerves are now, it's just want you to get away from it. Your nerves are saying, I need to get away. It's no longer hot or cold. It's not going to I also have trouble with the word. It's different. Differentiate. I'm going to say it like that. And it no longer cares. It's just your body is like, this is very painful. Your nerves is, and that's more of that's more of you do it. You gonna do it. I don't care how much you want to deny. I'm not worried about, I'm not talking about science. I don't know much you gotta want to deny that. But go stick your hand in the cold and let your hand become so numb that if I flick your finger and mine's is warm, or if I take something that is normally not heavy to your hand, like I put a book on your hand and your finger will break. Yeah. Once that happens, you start getting feeling back in your hand, pains come. Okay. You get pain before it happens. Some people can tolerate a little bit more. That's when you have to be careful. So, so in this world we live in, this program world, I want to say to people, stop trying to tell people who to be, what they should be, and what they want to do. Guide that person. Or if you're having a conversation with an adult, try to see what they're talking about first. Don't just, we in a world like people, some, I met people talk about this like the Matrix. I'm like, oh, so you feel like this is a simulation we in? I like it is. You're preparing yourself for a greater time. And I was like, and only reason you concentrating on that because you so much worried about everything else around you and you have not taken the time out for yourself. And every person I met would just look at me like, that's a lot of truth in that. Because I was like, you know why is a lot of truth? Because I do it with myself first. So I say unto one, I say unto all. It's your choice, it's your path, it's your journey. Choose wisely. We all got our ways. Stop allowing things around you to dictate who you are. And this is going to be sad for the next generation. They're going to be so confused. They mind going to be all jacked up. This is sad to me. And the only thing I can say is, and this is a sad part, I can say this, I'm not going to be around to watch this craziness. I don't have children. I have nieces and I have a nephew. I have cousins. All I can do is just give them the best. They all have just about the nieces. My cousin, what I call my nieces and nephew, they're my cousins. My nephew, he don't have a child. With my cousins, they all like in their 20s. My nephew, 19. They all have, a lot of them have children now. What can I say? I don't have any. Yeah, and every time I talk to them, they don't like no one I ever talk to because I was growing up never to be right. I grew up to like know the truth. Even though my mother and my father never, and this is a good thing about my father, he never said it, but he always say no in so many words. To me, it was like know the truth. No matter what I say and do for you, know the truth. Because I remember I was listening to a song, the Onyx song, but he didn't hear the whole song, and it was a cuss word. He was like, "You like this song because of the cuss word?" I said, "No, Dad." I was like, "This is a good song." He was like, and I said one line. My father was like, "Oh, okay." Then he left me alone. And at that child, I was only at that time. At that child, at that time, I was only a child. I was his young son, and by me doing that, and you can do this with your parents, young men and women that listen. By me doing that, you can show your example. You can show, and this is true. Show your parents your response, your responsibility, your accountability. I'm listening, dad or father, mother or father, but I also know what they're saying. And I used to do this with my nephew. I wanted to do this with my nephew so bad. He didn't want to do it. I say once a month we gonna listen to a song. You gonna hear a song? Get some songs. I say find some songs that is good to you, and find the songs that you listen to. Because I didn't want him to think, and I had to think about it. I just didn't like Lil Wayne songs, or I didn't like rap. But I was like, I didn't grow up on rap. See, I wasn't really allowed. But then as I got older, everybody keeps saying rap was not this way. Oh, yes, it was. I listened to a song, a rap song from like the back in the day. It was basically talking about a woman body parts. And that was like the whole, it was like hidden, but that's what they were saying. So everything is over sexualized. Like, and you would watch TV shows or they'd do surveys, boobs or breasts. Well, if you a breast, Sometimes I look at the breast like, yo, her breast beat the booty out. Like, I don't know, you got a big booty, but her breast went because the stature of the woman. See, I can like explain to the people why I would prefer that on her. I don't have a type. I don't have a preference on the body shape or build because it's not so much about it's a certain shape I like. Certain thing I love about a woman. I like lips will win. She can have it's the difference between a big booty and a round booty. I'd rather have it could be flat. Cause I seen the booty, I was like, her booty flat, but it's round. It got a cuff. So it's different things. See, and see, in the world, they trying to control you and tell you what not to like and what not to like. They tell me don't say that. I know I would not show my cousins, like say instance, now if I was a porn star, I couldn't say nothing to nobody. I don't have a leg to stand on. I do, but then I don't. But I'm happy I didn't go that route. So now I can talk to people. I'm happy I didn't do drugs. I'm happy I'm not out there having sex. I'm happy I'm not out there creating babies or having them. And it's no, and this is the thing, people. Please stop doing this. This is not a diss to you. The women that had abortion, and this is going to sound very, very, very funny to you. I'm not religious. I'm not a pro nothing. I'm not all of this. You are the greatest example to women that want to have abortions. You know why? You were it's like you put yourself in a position to overcome what you've been through. She or he, because he might be trying to tell his girlfriend that she should. You could, and then men that been through it. I look at it like this. I didn't do a lot of things, but I know it was times I was thinking about, like not even in see, and this is the thing about like this life, this control society. You think about something, that's what you need to become. I told the dude, little boy told me I'm gay. I said, you gay? I said, okay. I said, what makes you gay? Just want to go into what I want to say. What makes you gay? It's like, I like boys. And I was like, what do you like about them? And he started explaining everything. I said, have you ever been sexually active? Because he's at an age because he was 14 or 15 or 16. He's like, no. I was like, you're not gay. I was like, the confusion you have is that you don't know who you are. I say you ever travel with your family? He's like, I probably went to like Syracuse. I was like, have you ever left the country? He said, no. Have you left the I could say you left your city. Have you left the state? He said no. And someone asking him different questions about him. And a lot of questions was no. I was like, wow. Then I was like, okay, one more question. Have you ever dated a girl? He said no. I was like, so you think you're gay, but have you ever kissed? He's like, no. He said, I don't really look at women. I say, do you look at him? He's like, yeah. I say, do you see him? He was like, yes. They're not invisible, are they? And he started laughing. He was like, no, they're not invisible. I was laughing with him. I said, okay, you calling yourself gay. You want to, this community is set, because as what I told him for what I'm like, look, I'm saying, man, I'm not a psychologist, but what you are just as explaining to me, everything's in your mind. You haven't done nothing physical. I'm not saying to go out there to go be physical, but I start taking the time off to explore who you are first. Because a lot of the questions he was giving me was like, I don't know. I never did this. I never done that. I never even played, like, he didn't even like play sports. I was like, wow. Like, I was like, do you, and then there's a lot of things that gay guys enjoy that he didn't enjoy. I was like, oh, he's like, I'd rather be with a guy that looked like a woman. I was like, oh, okay. But when he said that, I was like, okay, you need to like explore your life. And also try to send out explore to the young people. I don't mean nothing sexual. I was like, start hanging out with girls. I was like, I know, and he's like, I liked the girl. He said it on his own. I liked the girl before, and I was like, what happened? She ain't like me back. I was like, that's gonna happen. I was like, whether you think it or not, that happened to the gay dudes as well. Gay people, I'm not gay, but I used to get the premises that they was promiscuous. I was getting the 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 atmosphere, the environment that gay people, or that's who they are. They're promiscuous. So like they are not promiscuous. They all don't like each other. You can be cool, but I get too that they're all not super friendly when it comes to outside people. They only have their groups. Like we have our. I never had a group. I said I would hang out with white people based on how they treated me. I don't really care for their families because of some odd reason in all white families there's this person that is very and people keep telling me it's not. Every time it's that one. It's that one. It's like I know they being biased and prejudiced. I'm not saying they being racist. It's always the more you're around a family, it's like it's that one. And it can be a woman, a low percent of the time, but a high percent is a man. But I noticed too, the high percent it can be a woman is usually like the mother and the daughters. It trickle down to a different way, which I don't not white and I don't be around white, so I don't have enough study on that or survey from my experience. So this young man walking around just thinking a certain way, and I was like, that came to true. That's a like the pastor, as a man thinketh, that's who he is. You are who you think you are because that's who you think you are. If you just think you that, that's what you're gonna become. That's why I say I don't have any diseases. This world say you depressed. I'm not depressed. This world say no. The world no. Stop. So when somebody keep telling you that's who you are, stop. And I learned I don't have to be angry when somebody say that you a certain way. I have once people get mad at you, they start calling you all types of names. And I just look at them like, I wasn't that name before, but why am I that name now? Because you mad at me? I don't agree with you. But that's what we come into in the world. Control me, or I'm homophobe. I'm transphobe. No, I just don't agree with your life. But you personally, I'm cool. Don't try to implement on me. I don't want your religions. Don't implement. I'm not doing that to you. All I ask is you to just respect me. I respect you. Live your life as you. If you want to live your life like YOLO, you want to. That's your life. That's not. I don't. To me, I see a bigger picture. I see. I can affect a young girl, young man life, young boy, young man, young woman, young lady, gentleman. I can affect their life by them just watching me. Somebody's watching me. And like when I get in conversations with people, and people start saying, "That's what you just said," and other people like, "That's not what he just said. He literally did not just say that. That's not even close." And the other person was like, "Yes, he did. That's what he meant." The other person was like, "No, you didn't even ask him." Because what I started doing is saying, "Hold on, stop." If you get in a conversation, I'm like, "Hold on, stop. What are we talking about?" Now, and I like what I do. I was like, I'm doing my best to stick to one topic. You keep changing it, and I keep working with you change it. But I'm also going back to the topic, to the beginning part. What I said from the beginning, what I said, not what you said. I'm not trying to control you. I don't want you to be controlled. Like you're trying to change my view. I was like, no, you literally want mine to change to your. I'm sitting here like, okay, you can have your view. Because after a while, I'm gonna see your view as the only thing that can be right. I don't want to be right. That's what people don't understand. And then after a while, they're like, "Oh yeah, you are right." I'm like, "Stop! I'm not right. Stop calling me right." No, you just never. I was like, "You opened my eyes to a lot of things." Now I got to go back too. You think that you? No, that's why I love conversation. That's why I love interacting with people. I learn so much in so many little words. Sometimes I don't talk at all. And the person's like, "Man, it's weird when you're not talking." Yeah, because I'm really paying attention to what you're saying. Because when I talk, I might interrupt or I might miss out on something great. Because you was made for greatness as I was made for greatness. See, we're not even taught that. Damn, you're gonna nurture, foster, and breed stuff into me. At least put that and put it in the right perspective. It's like, no, don't listen to people that's putting you down. But if you showing up late for school every day and a teacher have an assignment and you never complete your assignments and everything, what is it to the person that's like, I'm gonna be a great construction worker and you in science class and the teacher know all your grades and they sitting there like the teacher not saying nothing bad, but they'd be like this, and then I hear basketball play. It's always some like industry person, a person in business. I see the construction worker do it, and I was like, that he wasn't good at school. He didn't want to pay attention, doing everything wrong. Like okay, and the teacher said something. I mean, he like how he the way it went was like the teacher. He don't tell the whole story, but I bet it went like this because this happened to me. The teacher will approach me and be like, "What do you want to be?" Or it might be that type of discussion, or you might say, "I'm gonna be this, this, and that," and the teacher out of his or her mouth be like, "How?" And then, as me, if I was an instructor or a teacher, or if that's what they call us in school, I would like John Doe or Jane Doe. I'm not dissing you, but every day you come to my class. How old are you? You're 16, right? You're 16. You're at an age now when you can wake yourself up, come to school, and be on time. You're late every day, and I was like on top of being late, you don't even complete your assignments, and it's like it's bad. I can't just say, "Well, you late every day." Of course, I'm gonna think you're not gonna become anything. You're gonna end up making so much. I was like, "What type of job you think is out there?" And that's true. I didn't get do so great in school, and think about this. This is grammar school. I was trying to go to UB. UB is a prestige. A prestige is a certain level that they carry. So they like they like high GPSs. They like continual high GPSs. They looked at my grammar school because I'm trying to go to college. Even though I have went to college and show a greater example, but they looked at my grammar school still. I was like, well, our prestige show that at this time, maybe later down the line, because we see your college work is good. It's like way better. They didn't say it like that. It's way better than your grammar school. But when we see your work ethic, we see you had went through programs and you didn't miss a class. You if your examples of being late with real examples, we respect that. But the prestige we're looking for, you're not at our prestige. So keep thinking that don't matter, and think you're going to get into a school called University of Buffalo or at University of Buffalo, or in school just do the at or the of part. You because be University of or at Buffalo. Because of I mean where I'm at is of because I'm out of Amherst. At Buffalo is in Buffalo. And there's a north and a south. You be north and south, and you think you're going to get into a school like that. So this young dude, he's older now. He's around my age. He's online flicking his money off. So my teacher told me, but he literally became. His teacher said, all you're gonna do is become a construction worker. Well, back then construction went a lot. Now construction is more because now the supply and demand is different. So he did really be, and it was so funny. This teacher said, "You're just gonna be a lowly." She ain't say lowly, but he liked to use certain words. I'm quite sure the teacher was very angry at him because he was being late. He was interrupting her class. What else was she? She wasn't. She could have said, and she did make him leave. But one day he just really was like, and I'm quite sure he was jawing at her, saying all these things. And she was like, and I'm quite sure that was the nicest way she can tell him. But he took it as so wrong. And I seen other guys. That money did not determine what that teacher just said. You was late. And it's like, and I hate the notions of saying, wow, you really late. You think that's gonna carry over well into the work world? or until if you have your own business, you're late. In the beginning time of your business, yeah, you might want to get up a little earlier than normal. Because sometimes starting your day earlier can give you a better outlook. You can do a little bit more. Like if you're a type of person that has to do a certain routine, maybe getting up a little early should be because that routine has to be followed, or your day won't be started good for you. For me, I can just jump and pop and go on about my day and start a routine any time of the day. It won't bother me. But I know I gotta be clean before I leave. I hate going outside without taking a shower. And then after a while, I hate coming in the house. It's like I'm real dirty from that day. I want to take a shower. So it's gonna be a routine that I have to make sure I continue. But it's not gonna to me, it's not all. That's not the end all begin all. So I want you to just like start looking at things. Like with the just because that person like they have I don't mean they're doing better. Like I watch people in life and I was watching something before I went to sleep and it jotted in my mind. I don't mean they're doing better. Just because he got a whole bunch of money, he's doing better than me. I don't know what he did to get to that money. And then it's things that he done before that money. Like I'll use Jay Z. Not to diss Jay Z. He sold if he's telling the truth, he sold crack. Now I watched the drug epidemic. I seen them pump drugs into her neck, and you was one of the drug dealers. I'm not gonna forget about that if my mother was affected. My mother was not affected, but I know somebody else. See, and it's like that's what the world was trying to. You're not gonna control my mind and tell me to forget about that. And then we got some people that's so passionate about one thing, but the thing they need to be passionate about is themselves. Like the one lady I follow, she do body science and she get nude and naked, and she try to use her understanding. I'm not saying she's wrong or it's bad or it's negative, but then when it comes to other views, it's like, well, if you like Bill Cosby, I'm not taking up for Bill Cosby, but I know this is crazy. 30 years, it was like with your mother, like instance, my mother said 30 years she was raped. I'm gonna kind of have the same, and it sounds funny to people. It was like, well, you're not a man. Women say, well, I wouldn't talk to you. Like, don't talk to me. Because you know one thing I never done? You want to know one things I never done? I never raped a woman. I never forced myself on a woman. I never done things to women that will cause problems in their life mentally. So if you're going to throw me and just throw me away, think about that as well. So I never did all these things to these women. I never thought about I want to drug a woman to get her. I never thought I need a woman to have some type of drug in her body that has. I never thought about that. I never did that. That was my goal. I even asked women, we don't have to drink. It's like I want to drink, but it was somebody I was messing with regularly. So I asked her, so to have sex with me, you need some drink in you or something. She was like, no. She's like, but it's better. I was like, something's wrong, and she just started crying. Then now she started opening it up. Whether I understood her or not, which I probably didn't, because a lot of women say I don't understand them. I just like, what's wrong? Like, you don't need to have. It's like I'm that bad of a person, but she was messed with. But the one thing about it, which is not talked about, she enjoys sex. I mean, at a high point. She probably would have enjoyed it anyway, but it's what she'd been through. She needed certain things to happen first. She needed a certain way. I met one, had to be. I was like, what is wrong with y'all family members? But this one was actually, the ones I met was not by family members. More recent ones are more telling me it's family members. But the one, I was like, why so many women? I was like, man, we need our fathers. The fatherless house. Or the mothers that, or the motherless house. Because there's single fathers out there with their children. That's vulnerable. Because if I can if I can take the tension off one parent and put pressure on one parent, and then put pressure on the other one because it's causing more pressure, that child is vulnerable. Don't leave your child vulnerable. Don't be so quick to leave your child places. That's something else I'm gonna talk about. But what was going on? It was like, wow, this is happening. Just like these programs, ABC Family, teen pregnancy. I'm not like, whoa, it's supposed to be called ABC Family, and it's not showing teen pregnancy as in talking to the young girl or MTV. What was that show called? The one lady got famous. She became a porn star. Now the show's still going. I'm like, this is what the next generation and people don't understand. This is not new. It was something that came to me that is it's new, but it's not new, but it's not talked about. And I was asleep. I was in my dream, so I couldn't write this down. I couldn't wake up by my dream fast enough to write it down. And more so, more the things I get is like I said, is more spiritual and they're vision led. I have some visions that of destruction of the earth, of kids being killed, family being killed, people I don't even know like being hurt, and it's by people like you least suspect. That's how murders. I didn't know he or she was like that. Well, first of all, you ain't know the person. All you seen them is go in inside a house and come from work every day. You didn't hang out. You ain't talk to them. How you? Of course, you don't know them. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I ain't gonna keep going on and on. But just be mindful. This world is trying to control us, and it's trying to control us in a way like it's so much division and separation. I don't see my race of people getting together anytime soon, even in my lifetime. Because I'm 35 and I'm just now starting the community and uni. I hope. And one, just like, they got 15 minutes of fame. I know there could be a 15 minutes of togetherness and it stay that way. Not just for fame, not just for fortune, not for any amount of world, any money, any amount of money, anything that is very seduced by the world, that he can seduce you. Ooh, we don't talk about that. Seduction. Ooh, gotta write that down. Seduction. Any amount of that. That don't mean there's enough in this world that can make me turn my head on my brother and my sister, the people around me. I've been offered so many things. People just don't know. You just don't know what I've been offered in my life. A lowly, I'm not gonna call myself a man of my stature that women thought was nothing based on my income or who I am. Was offered certain things in my life. And I turned it down. It's like there's no way in this on this earth that this is gonna make me do what you want me to do. You can't. It's bad enough you're trying to control me through these social medias and these televisions, these movies, these it's propaganda, these advertisement, the like Amazon, Google, Supreme, Adidas, Nike. It's bad enough you're trying to do it then. But damn, I need to let you do but so much to me. I'm okay with a lot of things. I'm able to listen to music. And as I told you, it's a lot of in the background of music that y'all don't hear, that the children hear, but it's unconsciously, subconscious. So imagine when you fall asleep. I'm gonna leave it at that. You enjoy your day. You have a great day. I might want to have another one. I might have a couple more today. I started very early. My day consists of just working on me, recovering, being strong, and being the best me I can. That's my focus. My focus. I am truth, solution to resolve, and success. I work on a positive, high, vibrant energy of morals, values, and ethics. I don't want to call myself, how you say, holier than thou. I'm a saint. I am holy. I am righteous. I don't care. I am perfect. You are all these things, but you allow yourself to be overcame and taken by something or someone. Nothing supersedes power over you but you. You can that's how I look at life. If you don't want to hear that part, cool. Whatever your trust and belief is, say that. But I work on a power of oneness. I know I have to take the time out for myself first before I can do anything else. Shalom.